Okay, my name is Kirk Fatul, and I'm the Dean of Enrollment Management at Faith Bible Seminary. So welcome. Thanks for coming out today. This presentation should take about 20 to 25 minutes, and there will be time for questions at the end. If you haven't signed in, please make sure to do so. Then you can have your free resource, and it will allow me to keep in touch after the conference with a recording of this and some more resources. So at Faith Bible Seminary, our motto is biblical education for effective Christian ministry, and that motto drives everything we do in the MABC program. So some of the hallmarks of our program are flexibility, an opportunity to use your skills. We offer you the best and brightest faculty, and the program is accredited. We just got started. Come on in. Yeah. So, and the program is accredited. So the reason we wanted to do this program is best illustrated by something that Dr. Green sometimes says. Is he was right out of seminary, knew a lot about Greek, knew a lot about Hebrew, systematic theology, not a problem. His first appointment as a pastor is a layperson that said, you know, I really have a question about why the Apostle Paul conjugated the Greek verb this way as opposed to that, which is a total lie. That didn't happen. It was, you know, my husband's cheating on me. What do I do? You know, my kids won't obey. What now? Should I, you know, do I end life support for my loved one? So the Bible had answers, but Pastor Green didn't at that time. And so we want to make sure that students who go through our program don't have that problem, that they are equipped to answer that, and that they can be effective in ministry beyond that. So in terms of flexibility, our program can be done as little as 2 or as many as 6 years. This is great for full-time people and ministry professionals. We will provide you, you will have the opportunity to use your skills. Everything you learn in a class is applicable right away. You can learn something in Principles of Bible Study and use it next day in the counseling room. Our faculty are all counseling on a regular basis. They don't just work at academic institutions, but you'll also get to hear from some of the staff members that you've heard from today. Amy Baker, Rob Green, Brent Oakland, and Steve Byers are all on staff with Faith Bible Seminary. John Griner as well. So another common question that we get, besides why Faith Bible Seminary, is what can I do with an MABC degree? Well, we need leaders in the counseling movement. You've probably heard that at some point this week. And so all of our students are out there leading. So you can see we have graduates like Chris Moles, who's the author of The Heart of Domestic Abuse. He wrote that book based on his thesis in the seminary. Same with Pam Gannon, Beth Moore, and Sidney Millage. Randy Richner is a counseling leader with the confusingly titled ABCB, the Association of Biblical Counselors in Brazil, something like that. So not only are we going to help improve your opportunities professionally, but we're going to help improve you spiritually as well. Recently, in 2018, we surveyed our MABC students and alumni. 100% of alumni said that they were a better biblical counselor as a result of their time at Faith Bible Seminary. Then we sent a questionnaire to the references that they provided us in their application, and 93% of people who knew alumni said that the student had grown as a result of the MABC program. So we are making impacts in student lives that way. So I told you about our alumni, so here's an opportunity to hear from one, Larissa, who is also published in Brazil.
The MABC program was the best investment of my life. I can tell that for sure. I had the opportunity to watch other classes in other seminaries before, and the difference in Faith Seminary is that I had the opportunity to practice everything I was learning, and what I can say is that my love for Christ has improved, and my knowledge of the Bible also. One of the best things of the program is that I'm not just prepared to help other people, but I feel that I have grown a lot. I have learned how to deal with some things that I struggled in the past, and I'm very thankful to God that I had the opportunity to learn those things. And I would say that if you are not from the United States and you are afraid to take this step, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's something that is going to change your life for sure.
So yeah, in the future, I need to like get students to say something like, "Thanks, Kirk." So it looks like I'm throwing to them, like they're like we're live. We're not there yet. And again, I don't know if lying's a good idea at a counseling conference. All right. So talked about from a 50,000-foot view the purpose of the seminary, but now I want to kind of focus in on how classes work. So we have three types of classes. We have self-study, online, and module-type classes. So self-study are going to be at your own pace, and they're over a year. So one is doing 30 hours of supervised counseling. The other one is doing your oral and written exams, and the final one is writing your thesis. So let me talk to you guys a little bit about online classes, which are going to comprise 5 of the 13 total classes. So each online class is extremely flexible. They're 8 weeks long. So they're 8 weeks long within a 16-week semester. So that means in a semester you could do 2 classes and never have them overlap because they're 8 weeks long. So what you'll be doing in an online class is listening to online lectures, and we gave up a long time ago coordinating 25 students over 6 time zones, so we record those if you can't participate live time. You'll be posting to discussion boards. There will usually be questions that the professor provides that you will answer with and interact with other students that way. And then, of course, reading and writing. So these classes are great. If you keep your laptop close enough to your bed, you don't even have to get up to do these classes. I recommend brushing your hair before you go on camera, but that is up to you. So again, this is how 5 of the 13 classes are going to be. So the other type of classes are module classes. Now module classes are my favorite type of class. It is really where the magic, so to speak, of Faith Bible Seminary classes of seminary happens. So for the first 7 weeks of an online class, you'll be doing online coursework. So that's just what I described. You'll be doing the online stuff minus the video meetings. So then in the 1 week time, you will come to Lafayette, Indiana. So if you do your program over 6 years, you come to Lafayette 5 separate weeks. If you do your program in 2 years, you come to Lafayette for 5 separate weeks. Now, after our program's done, for those of you who don't live in the United States, you can talk to me. There's actually a different option if you live outside the U.S. So that 1 week on campus is just, again, where the magic happens. Students build relationships. I had a student here just yesterday saying that he's made 2 lifelong friends and 5 professional contacts just in that time. And it's really the opportunity to, it's great to hear Dr. Stuart Scott talk about counseling husbands in a 2-hour session, but you don't get a chance to raise your hand and say, well, now hold on, how does this apply directly to what I'm doing in my ministry? Whereas when you come to campus, you have that opportunity. You have the opportunity to talk to other people who are doing counseling, learning how to do counseling, and figuring out what they're doing. Okay, so that's the 1 week time. Then you'll go back 7 weeks with more online coursework. Again, no video meetings, but you'll just be finishing up some reading, posting to a few discussion boards, and finishing up your papers. Truthfully, I hear this a lot. It says, boy, the modules really sound like a pain. Couldn't you just make the program 100% online? And the answer is yes, but we don't want to because they are so important. And to that point, I want you guys to hear from Brenda, who just a couple years ago, she came and shot some video for us to tell us the importance of modules.
Well, I would say the modules are a must. And I was somewhat skeptical when I started the program. I thought, why do I need to go to Indiana, particularly in the winter? I'm a Southern girl. I don't like cold. I don't like snow. But I would come every winter, knowing what I know now about the modules. First of all, you have the opportunity to sit with some of the best minds in the biblical counseling movement. Steve Byers, Dr. Bob Kellerman, Dr. Robert Jones. These are men who I just have such high regard for and have read so many of their works, just having the teaching. So to be able to have that weekly interaction and to ask them questions and to hear from them. But one of the things I probably enjoyed the most about meeting with the professors was not only hearing their doctrine and their theology, their methodology, but really getting to have a glimpse of who they are as a person. I've found that the professors are both teachers and learners. These are such humble men, and not only have I walked away with a better sense of what biblical counseling theology and methodology looks like, but I've walked away with a better around the world. I've had people affiliated with South Korea and Romania and Central and South America in my classes. And so it gives you a bigger vision of what God is doing around the world, saving people, conforming people to the image of Christ, and building His kingdom.
Okay, so that was Brenda, and she's actually now writing her thesis on how do you counsel parents with adult addicts. So that is the training that we provided. So another question we often get is, how much does it cost? So this chart is going to show you some of the costs of our competitors and then Faith Bible Seminary. So I've included our two Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary and Southern Baptist Theological Seminary as comparison. Is anybody here in a church that's a member of the Southern Baptist Convention? Okay. So at the Southern Seminary, you'll get a significant reduction in tuition. But if you're not, you're going to be looking at about $583 for Southeastern and $618 for Southern. Faith Bible Seminary, we've kept our cost at $310 a credit hour since 2015. We would like to freeze that for absolutely as long as we can. We offer you flexible payment plans throughout the course of your semesters in order to pay your bills or pay your tuition and fees. So the reason we did that is because we understand that you don't get rich in ministry, and we want to train people. We want to give you biblical education for effective Christian ministry, and we don't want finances to be an impediment. So we try to keep our tuition as low as we possibly can. So one more student that I want you guys to hear from, his name is David. David is a missionary in Romania who works mostly with adoption agencies and counseling parents.
I'm David Lee. I live in Romania, where I help people who adopt and foster children. If counseling is a regular part of your ministry, I really recommend the Master's Course in Biblical Counseling here at Faith Bible Seminary. Conferences are great. Studying on your own is great. But if counseling is going to be an important part of your ministry, I just really have to recommend that you go for the master's level education. And the Master's of Arts in Biblical Counseling here at Faith Bible Seminary is a great program. I have learned a lot, and I'm able to use it in my ministry in Romania, and it can help you in your ministry.
Okay, we got cut off there, but he was going to say it will help you in your ministry too. So can the program impact you right away? The answer is definitely. Here's what Sharon, a student who had only taken one class, recently wrote us. Quote, "Just this morning, I've been able to really help someone in a real struggle over their thoughts. It, the one class she took, has made a real difference. I can see my weak areas and I know what to do about them, and only after taking one class," end quote. So if you guys are ready to take the next step in your counseling training so that you can eternally impact the lives of others, if you want to train others using the whole counsel of God's Word to help the hurting, if you're ready for new opportunities as you learn from the best faculty in biblical counseling, if you're ready, then Faith Bible Seminary is ready too. Okay, guys, that's the end of the formal part of the presentation. So, again, sign up on the sign-up sheets, and then you're welcome to 1 free resources. But at this point, I'm happy to take questions. Go ahead.
So, you were outlining the 6 credits of self-study, the 15 credits of the module, and the other 15 credits are all here as well, or?
No, they're online. Yep. I thought I saw a hand. Go ahead.
So when you come to campus those 5 times, are you pretty much like sitting in on biblical counseling sessions with professors to do the hands-on type, like kind of like an intern?
Yeah, so what do you do when you come to campus? No, that is a class time. So instead of having your course time across 7 hour-and-a-half long lectures, you're going to get all of your course interaction time with the professor crammed into 1 week.
Oh.
It will essentially be like a week of the counseling conference, but with one professor on one subject.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Does ACBC certification or prior experience in counseling give any credit to becoming students?
Right. Does ACBC or prior experience transfer over to course credit? The answer at this point is no, because ACBC, while it is great, the level of training is not the same as what we're offering. Additionally, We want students to be counseling, and we want to see how they counsel after they've taken our classes. So as a school and as a way to always improve, we want to make sure that what we're teaching you is actually being used in counseling, and if it is, if it's effective. Additionally, the basic training is a requirement to get into the program because while it is designed for laymen and women, if you know absolutely zero about biblical counseling, you'll be lost in the first few classes. But all of you have done some basic training. If you're here, you will finish it by the end of the week, so that shouldn't be a problem for most of you guys. I have a question all the way in the back.
Yeah, you mentioned that there is another option for the international people. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So the option for international students, if they want to, so they can do 4 out of the 5 modules. So that's the 1-week portions. If you live outside the 48 contiguous United States, so this is also available for Alaskans and Hawaiians, you can pay a $200 fee and then participate in a video version of 4 of the 1-week modules. That's just something we offer to online students because travel is a real impediment for them. There is one class, the counseling lab, that every student has to be in person for. We don't allow that when they participate remotely. Go ahead.
So it sounds like what you're wanting is at least us be involved in some form of informal counseling while we're doing online classes.
Yeah, do you have to be involved in counseling while you're doing classes? So the answer is yes, that's always going to be best. Being involved in informal counseling, again, we're not going to call you up and say, hey, are you doing counseling this week? And if you say no, then you're out of the program, right? But imagine you're learning how to cook. You go to school 6 hours a day, you're learning all about how to cook, and then you come home and you make yourself a frozen pizza. Well, it's just a short period of time before you think to yourself, what is even the point of all this? And so it's the same way we have found unsuccessful students do that with our program, that they come to school, they learn about counseling, they don't do any counseling, and then it's only a year or a couple semesters before they say, what's even the point? Good.
The self-study part, I think I just didn't see where I'm saying the results of the module, the online classes, and the self-study. Did you say 30 hours of supervision? Or?
Yep, there are 3 self-study classes. One is doing 30 hours of supervised counseling, and that supervision is going to be very similar to how ACDC does it. Then there will be one where you take your oral exam, you take your written exam, so that's class number 2. Class number 3 is going to be writing your thesis.
Oh.
I know I saw some more hands. Did you have? I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking at the program that is will and it's 60 hours to do the degree, the master's. So, but I saw there's like a ton of more Bible classes, like more seminary-ish. So I guess my question is, because I'm not on pastoral staff, I'm just a lay person. In 36 weeks, am I going to be biblically? Will I be? I don't know. I will obviously do a lot of study on my own, but I'm just a little worried about that part.
So you're asking about the rigor of the program. So
yeah.
First, one clarification: it's 36 credit hours, not 36 weeks.
I'm sorry.
So okay, good. So it's 36 credit hours, and yes, you will be prepared because the point of this degree is to focus really intensely on biblical counseling. So we are cutting out a lot of that pastoral ministry stuff. Not that this program isn't helpful to those in pastoral ministry. About 35% of our students are pastors. But we're going to focus very specifically on using the Bible in counseling and counseling applications. Then we're going to focus very specifically on how do you use the Bible to counsel specific issues, marriage and family counseling, advanced counseling cases, which include hard cases, suicide prevention, and potential brain disorders. And then we will also apply it to common counseling issues, depression, anger, eating disorders, things like that.
Right.
I'm going to go with you.
Okay. One of the slides there said something about chat board or chat room thing. So I'm assuming you have to be online at a certain time on a certain day to do that. What would be that? Yep.
So you're asking what are the requirements for being online in an online class? So the answer is you will need to post to, it's a discussion board. So a discussion board is a static board. It's not updating in live time. So the professor will post a question, you will post your reply, and then students at their leisure can reply to you, you can reply to other students. Now, we do want people to be online every day, just looking what their, almost every day anyway, looking at what their fellow students wrote, and again, there are live lectures that it's best to participate in person, but if you can't, we get it. You've been waiting very patiently. What is your question?
So does it start, when does it start? Is there a summer session? When does it start?
Yep. When do we intake students is the question. So our two most common times are November, the first week of November, and the last week of April. Those are our two most common acceptance times. So that's the winter semester, then the spring semester, and we will also have some acceptance times in between, just because of the 8-week classes. So a lot of 8-week classes are entry levels, so we allow students to jump in on those as they want. So for example, if you didn't get your application finished by the November 4th deadline, we would get in touch with you and say, hey, would you like to jump in starting on January 19th? And some say yes, some say no. Good.
Do you have an official English requirement that software have or something like that?
Is there an English requirement? Yes, we do have a TOEFL English requirement. We would also accept ITES as well. I don't know the score requirements off the top of my head, but when I send you an email sometime in the next week or two, just ask me about that, and I can get that for you pretty easy. Go ahead.
550.
Okay, there it is. 550 for that's for the online test for TOEFL. Yeah. Okay, all the way in the back.
Is there a list of the various classes that we want to take?
Yes. Are there a list of classes? On our website, which is faithlafayette.org/MABC, you can find that. Additionally, when I get in touch with you, I'll send you a list of some sample syllabi and links to our website that will have some of that information as well. You got a question?
Yeah, and if I'm assuming the master's with a bachelor's degree is a prerequisite, and if there's someone who has a bachelor's, is there any sort of finishing option?
Can you be in the program without a bachelor's degree is the question. So the answer is yes. Now, a bachelor's degree is a typical requirement, but we do have a path to graduation for students with no bachelor's degree. Here's how that's going to work. Our accrediting body has allowed up to 10% of the total student body, so that's both programs, can be in the program without a bachelor's degree. So the way that would work is if you apply without a bachelor's degree, we will have extra scrutiny on your ministry experience and your written sample. Then, depending on how those things are, now if you have some college, also we will take that into consideration as well. We will look at those three things. Thank you. We'll look at those three things, and then we will give you an admissions decision. And it is possible that in your first 2 semesters, you will be on academic probation. So that means you need to keep your GPA at 3.0 or higher for 2 semesters. Then if you can do that for 2 consecutive semesters, you would just be under the normal GPA requirements, which I believe is 2.75.
And then do you then graduate with a master's even though you don't have a bachelor's?
Excellent question. Do you graduate with a master's even though you don't have a bachelor's? The answer is yes, because our accrediting agency said if the student can meet the admissions requirements, get through the probationary period, then they have done all the requirements necessary to earn a master's degree. Go ahead.
What is the writing involved? Is it just rehashing what you read, or is it?
What is the writing assignments? Yes, it is rehashing what you read. No, just kidding. So there will be a few book reviews for sure, but for the most part, it's going to be taking what you've read and applying it to some sort of counseling scenario. So I know, let's take Principles of Bible Study, because we just did finish that class up. One of the assignments is a research paper where you take one passage of Scripture, you dig really deep into it, and you explain its implications and uses in counseling. And then another assignment in that class is a teaching paper where you take what you've learned and you actually create a curriculum, and then you create an assignment. It's complete with PowerPoint slides and everything. You turn that all in, and that gets graded. Additionally, one of the counseling Issues Part 1 is actually going to require you to take what you read and create several counseling manuals. So you're actually going to create a manual on how you would counsel someone with anger, depression, eating disorder, stuff like that. Good. Any more questions? All the way back.
Did you mention there's a thesis that you have to write it?
Is there a thesis? Yes, there is a thesis. Real briefly, without getting too deep in the weeds on that one, we have two thesis options. Option number 1 is that we give you a series of case studies and you write that. That is the best option for somebody who is usually outside of the U.S., where if you want to, so for example, I use Monica, who was in Hungary. So if you want to go find a book on premarital counseling, you can just, you can find a million of them in America. But what sort of biblical counseling resources are there in Hungarian? Well, pretty much it's what Monica wrote for her thesis. So we offer that as an option for students in that position. The other option, and the preferred one, and the one we encourage, is that you write an original thesis. That's going to be coming up with a proposal, getting that proposal approved, working with a supervisor, and writing an 85 to 100 page thesis. Now, if you guys have been to my table, you'll see that there's 4 books in the front. 4 of those 4 books are all published works based on theses that students have done here in this program. So I would say 10 years, 59 graduates, 4 publications. I think we're doing pretty good at the risk of being arrogant. All right, go ahead.
I noticed you talked about the cost, but didn't speak about any scholarship.
We have 1 scholarship. The question is about scholarships. Yep, we have 1 scholarship. It is the Leadership and Counseling Matching Program. The way that works is you apply for it once a year, and if a church or organization in which you work for or do counseling with or volunteer with will give you an amount of money, the seminary will match it up to $500 a year. So if they want to give you $1,000, the seminary will match it up to $500. So that means from the organization you get $1,000, from the seminary you get $500, and you would apply for that every year.
But is there a way that you can have like low income students, like because I come from Romania and like the salary is $300 per month, so at least like that I will pay that money. So is there something we can do to help low income students? So each class is $980, so we can break that out into monthly payments. Works out to about $200 a month, if you want, depending on the track you want to take.
When you were talking about that scholarship, is that 1 scholarship per class or only 1 scholarship that everybody can pay?
That's the 1 scholarship, yep. So the most you could get would be $500 a year from the seminary.
So more than 1 student can get that.
Right, yes. Yeah, it's not the only, yes. We offer that to multiple. We would potentially offer that to multiple students, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Good.
Do you have the dates for the summer modules, or do those vary?
They are online at the moment. They will typically always be they'll start the first full week in June and then go through the next to last full week. So this time around, they're going to be June 8 through 12, and then 2 subsequent weeks after that.
And what does housing like during that time? Do you work that out on your own? Or
yeah, how do students work out housing for modules? So most students will get a hotel or an Airbnb or stay with someone that they've met through this conference or some other contact. Every once in a while, I've been able to accommodate housing for students. Now, it's a lot like this conference. If all 2,000 people who came said, I need a house, I don't know if we would find something for them. But, and it's the same with the program. So if 75 people over 3 weeks said we need a place to stay, I don't know if we could work that out. But in the case-by-case basis, we've always been able to find a place for students to stay. Any other questions?
Thank you. Did you say that the program's been in existence for 10 years?
Over 10 years. We actually, so the Master's Divinity, the Master's Divinity program was started in 2007, and the Master's of Arts in Biblical Counseling was started in 2008.
And how many graduates?
How many graduates? We have, someone just asked me this. President just asked me this. Yeah, it's about 55 to 60 MABC graduates, 40 to 50 MDiv graduates. Question in the back.
Would these credits transfer over to your MDiv program at all?
Yes. Would it transfer to our MDiv program? Definitely. Would it transfer to a different MDiv program? Probably. It depends on the MDiv program. Sure.
What's the difference between your program and the other programs that have booths here, like Jones or Southern or whatever?
Well, what is the difference between us and Southern and Bob Jones booths here? Well, I can't speak to what those guys do. I can only speak to what we do. So again, we're going to offer affordability, flexibility, and the opportunity to learn from a school that's been affiliated with a ministry that's been doing counseling for over 30 years now. So that's what we bring to the table. If you want to go to one of those schools and you really want the more traditional, rigid sort of be in class and talk to a professor every week, then they're probably going to be a little bit better than we are on that. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I work in a private Christian school. It's TK to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked a lot so far, and I'm only in chapter 1.
Okay.
There's a lot that I have to forget. A lot with marriage, parents, and that sort of thing. But would this be beneficial for someone who works with children?
Would this program be beneficial for someone who works with children? The answer is probably. Now, it's going to be a little bit tougher because there's not going to be, we don't have a specific class that says, here's how you counsel children. But I do know for a fact from people in our program that counseling children is a big hole in the literature. There is not a lot, even in our own bookstore, about how do you counsel children. There's a little bit, but there's not a ton of book-length treatises or book-length treatments of that. So we would love it if you came to the program and the writer teaches about that.
Thank you.
No problem, guys. Thank you. All right. I see most of you are leaving me, which is fine. But if I'm happy to take any more questions. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. I'm going to stand in here until everybody leaves the room and clean up, and I'm happy to answer any more questions as they come.